What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In today's video, we're jumping into X-Men issue number 3. As we begin to venture further into this new era of mutant kind, Cyclops has started up the X-Men again. His team is consisting of Beast, Magneto, Psylocke, Kid Omega, Temper, Magic, and Juggernaut. Most recently, they traced an abnormal adult X-Men gene activating in San Francisco. They found an individual by the name of Ben Liu. We quickly learned that Ben is a mutant with abilities to warp reality. The X-Men faked his death. They returned him to the factory in Alaska. This is where they're going to take the opportunity to try and figure out how his X gene or how a X gene activated in an adult. Not consistent with how the X gene mutates. They got to figure out what's going on here. But Cyclops also has a much bigger problem. That is Agent Lundquist. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel. Make sure that you like this video. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we get into this issue, we pick up at the factory in Alaska. We pick up with Vanisher and a whole squad of agents. Vanisher lets them all know that their objectives have been programmed into their hub mats. There is to be no casualties. As this armored squad goes invisible, they hunt down whatever it is they're looking for inside the X-Men's new headquarters. This is what picks us up with Cyclops. And this story is going to hugely focus on him specifically. Cyclops recently getting word of what Rogue, Gambit, and Wolverine have all been up to. The 4 mutants that they found in the woods. But if Rogue is moving, whatever it is that she's doing, he knows that they gotta move up their plans. And as he gets off the phone, he goes over and he greets the chief. It appears that there's some trouble in town. That is because the organization known as One, they have come in because of the mutants. Cyclops apologizing to the chief, letting her know that he's really sorry for what's happening and he's gonna go in and he's gonna handle this. This is what picks us up with Magneto and Temper. And Temper is really letting Magneto know that me and you aren't the same. Magneto was one of the people that sentenced Necra and her down into the pit in Krakoa. And in a sense, it is a bit hypocritical, this coming from Magneto, having the law of kill no man. But Temper is one of the few individuals that doesn't miss Krakoa. She was made to see Krakoa as the utopian moralizing for what it was, not having much time to argue because this is when Kid Omega chimes in, letting them know that they got a problem. Hopping back over to Cyclops and Agent Lundquist. And the agent is here today because of what had taken place in San Francisco, telling Cyclops that when the US government kindly gave you the factory, we thought that you would stay away from us in Alaska. But for Cyclops, this was no understanding. This was an implication, and he doesn't deal in implications. What was understood is that he was doing the government a favor by taking the factory, because it wasn't a gift, it was a settlement. You can't forget the court case of Scott Summers versus the United States. And when the agent tries to get loud with him, Cyclops lets him know that no, he's gonna listen to him. Orcus killed scores of mutants, unlawfully imprisoned. Cyclops was tortured, getting ready for a show trial and execution. Eyes shown shut. His wife murdered, all with the permission of the United States. All with an understanding. So when he settled for the factory, the damages done to him, personally, that was a gift. He could have won so much more. As we hop back over to HQ, Kid Omega lets them know that they're under attack. Finding Hank unconscious, he touches his brain to see the last 2 minutes of what has happened and dumps their memories into everybody else's mind. They know that these guys are wearing camouflage, that they're psi shielded. They have come prepared for a fight. And all of the mutants, they believe that they gotta be here for Ben. That or Magneto. While these people may have come prepared, the one person that they cannot hide from is Magic. They may be invisible, their minds may be blocked, but their souls, those are as bright as day. taking us back over to Scott. The agent's letting us know that regardless of anything, he's not happy. A mutant disaster took place in the middle of a city, one that Cyclops would argue they defused. But this is much bigger than that. Cyclops is recorded talking about the X gene activating in adults. People are becoming mutants outside the normal activation window, and so there is public panic that this could be contagious, that being a mutant might now be a disease. Back at HQ, we have Magic and Juggernaut. Magic being the one to find out where these guys are, and then she points Juggernaut in the right direction. Taking these guys down, Psylocke's able to get into one of their minds. And in doing so, what she learns is that they are not here for Magneto. They're not here for Ben. They have come for Cerebro. Back with our conversation going on with Cyclops. The agent saying that he really just doesn't need the X-Men out there causing a headache. Especially when they have their own X-Men team, which is X-Factor, with Alex being the one to lead them. But Cyclops begins to lay down the law. He lets the agent know that his team and him, they're gonna keep doing what they're doing, and one isn't going to do anything to stop them. He's doing the agent a favor. We have Psylocke, Kid Omega, Juggernaut, and Magic. An assassin, a terrorist, a supervillain, and a half-demon on a good day. And for good measure, you can add in Magneto. These are people that you want to keep busy, because these are the people that you want to be Cyclops' X-Men, not his Brotherhood. This is where Temper gets to show off some of her ability, with her being the first one to get into Cerebro. We have two of these undercover agents that are trying to get ready to destroy it. The only problem with this situation is they don't know anything about her. So when they try to throw grenades to burn her, they had no idea that she would be able to grab them. She can move heat around. The heat from the thermite grenade becomes the ice that holds them now in place. Now, she may not have a rap sheet big enough for these guys to know about. That doesn't mean she doesn't have one. But lucky for them, she is done being anybody's collateral damage. With Cyclops pretty much being done with his conversation, the agent isn't sure if Cyclops understands the severity of the situation, saying that, are you really willing to try and handle fighting the entire US military machine? And Cyclops tells him, if you make me, definitely. And at the end of the day, if it all comes down to it, I can always call my wife to tell your bosses they don't want Scott Summers versus the United States to kick off for real. With Magic teleporting in behind them with the undercover agents in a little bit of a bubble by Kid Omega. They handle the prisoner transfer. We see him take off his jacket and he kind of rushes into the bathroom, getting over to the sink trying to splash his face with water. He tells himself that he's got to get it together, that he's got to lead, that he has to breathe. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Definitely a fun story. We get to see Cyclops being a straight up boss. But more than that, we get to see some vulnerability from Cyclops. He is trying to portray himself as the leader he knows he has always been, is always capable of being. But it appears he's starting to have some kind of anxiety attacks. You gotta think, the man's been through a lot. And even after the war that they just fought, he still has the government on his doorstep, banging on it, trying to cause trouble. And in no way, shape, or form has Cyclops even begun to try and deal with this. So it's going to be an interesting story moving forward, seeing exactly how he's going to handle all of this. And the other character that really stood out in this comic was Temper. After being thrown in the pit, she is one of the last people to truly miss Krakoa. She has no good memories of that place. She just remembers being punished by a council that inevitably ended up being very crooked and very corrupt. And so she really is trying to find her own place in all of this. This might lead her down a very dangerous path. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything that has been going on with this new era of the X-Men, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It'll get you completely caught up on everything that is going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. If you're unable to do this, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.